All right, good morning, everyone. I hope you had a nice weekend. As you've seen, the Mirage Lock waterfall samples are pretty much ready in the showroom. There's a couple more decals that need to be brought in from Mirage, but I thought rather than trying to get everybody together to do, an introduction, which is almost impossible, I thought I'd just film a quick video and you guys can watch it as you have time. All right, so I have notes. I didn't prepare this speech. I just wrote it 3 minutes ago. So we have a wide range of experience. Some have sold the product, some have no idea what I'm talking about. So what is Mirage Lock? It is a click-together engineered hardwood floor from Mirage, introduced as a price point product, but as we'll go through, it has some awesome features and benefits that you can sell and should be able to sell well. So the top layer is a 1.5 millimeter lamella. Some people call it veneer or a wear layer, but proper technical term is lamella. It's 1.5 millimeters thick. We're not going to sell this as a store as something that can be resanded because it probably can't. But you can definitely do a screen and recoat. So if this finish gets scratched over time, you definitely can reapply, or a professional can reapply a new finish over top, effectively making it look new. Now you're not going to get rid of any dents that might be in the floor, but there's probably not going to be too many dents because of the high density fiberboard in the center. But an important point about the lamella is it's actually a dry sawn lamella. So this is the same way that they cut the rest of their 4 millimeter lamellas for the rest of their line. It's the best way to harvest a hardwood lamella. And the most important part is that it's not going to have any repetitive plywood-like grain pattern or funky things that we saw like with the Torleys. So visually from the top, the cut and the look and the grain is exactly like it is with the higher end Mirage products. It's just a thinner lamella, which makes it so you can't sand it. So it's a huge selling point. A lot of thin lamella products are rotary peeled, and you can get all sorts of pretty funky looking grain patterns. So this is a really strong selling point. All right, so the core or the primary of the material is HDF, high density fiberboard. I'm going to do some more wet tests on it, but from everything that I've seen, the HDF is exceptionally high quality. It's definitely not your grandma's cheap MDF laminate that fell apart or that got water damaged as soon as you looked at it. This is really high quality HDF, and it's post-industrial recycled material. So when I talk to the BCIT students, they're really keen into sustainability, and this is a great story. It's made out of waste byproduct, essentially, made out of sawdust. It's compressed together under extreme pressure, and you have a really dense product. So I mentioned about the denting. This dense core material actually is really strong. It's stronger than any naturally occurring wood. So it should potentially make the floor a little bit more dent resistant, but we're not going to sell it that way because we don't have any testing to back that up. But just keep in mind, it's not an inferior core material compared to the SPF in the True Balance or the plywood in the engineered or in other products. It just effectively looks different, but the sustainability behind it and the density behind it is actually assets. And like I said, I'm going to do some water testing on it to hopefully give you some more confidence in that as well. And then the third layer is just a thin softwood layer, probably a Canadian softwood. So again, it's an all wood, all natural product that was made out of trees and recycled tree dust and will decompose back into dirt again, effectively at the end of its life cycle. So again, something I've noticed with the BCIT students, end of life cycle questions are becoming more and more common. So to have a story that this product grew up out of the ground in the form of trees and will decompose back into the ground in the form of dirt, that's a great story. So All right, so just some specifics on the product. It's a 5-inch wide. Product lengths are from 16 inches to 69 inches in length. It's a random fixed, or a fixed random. It's not truly random. There are some set fixed lengths. But I noticed putting it together, a lot of good long lengths for sure. There's a lot of short boards as well, but a lot of good long lengths. And I noticed that the grading, though it's character grade, it seemed to be cleaner than a lot of the other Mirage character grade that I've worked with. And so I don't know if that was because it's the 5-inch wide plank, you know, you can select better material, or it's because of the thinner lamella. Again, sell it as character grade, full-blown character grade, but just inside information, it seemed to me, at least with the stuff I was working with, that it was a little bit cleaner than some of the other Mirage product. All right, so that's it. 7/16 overall thickness, so just under 1/2 inch. So how do you install it? So it's designed with a Valenge patented 2G angle locking system. So it's designed as a floating floor. The short end lock is a drop lock, which traditionally hasn't been necessarily the best type of lock system. It goes together really well and the milling is perfect, but you're going to want to make sure that your subfloors are really flat if you are installing this as a floating method, because otherwise there's a potential for that end lock to disengage. I'm going to work with Mirage's tech department to see if it's possible to put some white wood glue in that end joint to just make sure that it stays together and still maintain the warranty. That's what we used to do with laminate floors back in the day. It worked well, but I just want to see what they think about it. But for the time being, subfloors have to be really flat, and it has to be installed over an approved underlay. So we're using the Acoustic products, depending, I think it's VP for floating floors. So that's the one you're going to want to use. Now, for any residential setting that, you know, it's not a condo, it is available to be installed as a full spread glue down. And obviously that's the ideal way to go. It costs more money, but no instances of joint separation or anything like that. So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's it for the install. I had something else that I was going to say, but I forget what it was right now. All right, so features. Selling, how are you going to sell this floor? So it's made by Mirage. So if you like analogies, if you like car analogies like I do, it's equivalent to a Lexus, Mercedes. Those are good comparative brands, but it's just built at a price point that is lower than their other products. And they didn't take any quality out of it. They just made some changes to the product to be able to offer it cheaper. So obviously the HDF core is a big part of it. And obviously the 1.5 millimeter thick lamella versus 4 millimeters is the primary reason. There's just a whole lot less oak going on. So, but you get effectively a high-end Mercedes brand and product at, you know, an entry-level, you know, price, an entry-level Mercedes price, which is a great sell, and people will feel good, I think, about buying, you know, a high-end floor that's at a price point they can afford. So, so it's made in Canada. It's made, again, 100% in St. George, Quebec. It has the Duramat finish applied to it, which is, in my opinion, the best clear coat finish on the market. You know, a real 35-year warranty on it. Lifetime structural warranty, provided that they keep it between the 40 and 60% relative humidity range. So that's something to keep in mind. Obviously, if you're floating a floor, the humidity range is going to be a little bit more narrow than on a plywood or a true balance, especially on something that's being glued down. So just keep that in mind. It's more of a traditional humidity range than the Mirage product that we're used to, which has a really extreme, you know, big warranted humidity range. So selling features, again, made in Canada. You're buying into a high-end brand at not a high-end price, when you're buying from Mirage and from Canadian product, you're buying sustainably harvested and legally harvested wood. So that might be important to some clients. It's made under humane factory conditions, that more than humane, that's allowing families in Quebec to buy homes and raise families and have reasonable incomes. So there's a whole social, economic argument to be made there about buying locally. Like I said, the core material is recycled, post-industrial recycled content with the sawdust. So depending on your client, that might be important to them. And it's got the most popular, so the whole range is 5-inch wide wire brushed Duramat white oak. So obviously this is the high end or the most popular look right now. So we've got 11 styles, 11 colors in wire brushed white oak, all finished with the Duramat finish. So this is kind of the meat of our market in terms of looks and popularity. If things change in the future, if all of a sudden maple becomes popular, then we can transition to that as well. But for the time being, it's 11 white oak wire brushed floors, all in Duramat, all in character grade. So it's all of our popular colors: bubble bath, carousel, rocking horse, all of this stuff that we see on the wall and you see in the regular Mirage program. It's also crossed over into the Mirage Lock. Okay, so pricing, this is maybe one of the more exciting parts. So we've got a special offer from Mirage. Our cost is $5.99, landed to Rosedale, just like everything else. We're gonna be retailing or advertising this online at $10, so $10 even as a retail price. This is a full 40 points markup. And then obviously the intention, or I hope, is that this is going to be a pretty popular DIY product, or going to contractors or going to installers. So if we take the 15% DIY price off the top, off the $10, now we're left with a DIY price of $8.50. So that's still a full $2.50 above cost. And at $8.50, it's starting to look like a real value for a full Canadian made product with all of the features and benefits we just mentioned. It's starting to get in line with some of the Chinese products. So at that kind of price, it should be a no-brainer to be able to sell a Canadian made high-end product versus a Chinese made product. All right, so samples, you'll notice obviously the waterfalls in the store. There's 11 of those. Those are to stay in the store. I made 15 by 17 inch, so the standard Mirage size panels I made of all of the colors, and those are in the bins underneath the wall feature on the with the regular Mirage display. So all of the lock floors have a corresponding 15 by 17 inch sample. Some of them have 2, and we can make more if needed. And then I'm also working on making and labeling 8-inch cuttings to go into the bin beside the waterfall display. So that will be full in time with all of the cuttings marked. So you have 2 alternatives for sampling. The 15 by 17s can go out with the client, and or so can the cuttings. We only have a limited number of cuttings, like we got 1 box of each color, so try and get them back, obviously, and the 15 by 17s must come back. So yeah, that's sampling. Availability, I don't quite know yet. This is a special program, so off the top, this is available only to us in BC to be able to access this 5-inch lock. Officially, it's not on the price list, and it's not it's not available, and that's simply because of supply. Mirage sells a lot of this product for projects, condo projects, high rises, townhouses, so their capacity is pretty much full with that type of work. But I've been bugging them for so long that they made some of their production space available for us. So that being said, I don't know exactly what the lead time is for getting it. That's something that we'll have to work on. But if you were to say 4 to 6 weeks right now as a standard, just if somebody asks, it's probably okay. But I'll try and work on getting some more information on what that is. So yeah, sell with confidence that nobody else in the city or the province even is going to be able to access this product on a residential basis. So it's essentially a no competition product, which is what we're trying to get for the store. You know, this is the idea behind Riva, and you know, this is the idea behind Mirage Lock. Okay, so finally, the future of this product. You know, obviously 5-inch isn't the most wildly popular product, but you know, maybe it might be going forward. Things might narrow down again. I think it's perfect size for condos or for basement suites or anything that's not a huge expansive space. But obviously my eye has always been on the 6.5-inch wide lock, which was available for a short period, but then they had to pull from retail use again, just because they couldn't make enough of it to feed all of their projects. So I've been bugging Mirage for quite a long time to be able to get the 6.5-inch lock, which I think is going to be an absolute home run for us. But they've given us the 5-inch first because that's where they had capacity, and they're basically seeing how much of it we can sell. You know, can we make a case that if they open up the 6.5-inch wide to us, that it's going to be successful. So yeah, try and sell it, because it's, you know, as it is, I think it's a great product, but if we can sell enough of it to make the case to Mirage that we can get the 6.5-inch, that's even better. And then also going forward, we're going to be, and I've been working on making this available through an online shopping program just to mail the 8-inch cuttings. So it's a way to broaden the reach, you know, beyond North Vancouver or West Vancouver, to actually mail samples to people. So it's a bit of a beta testing to see if this idea has any validity or whether people will go for it. I think so, especially with the, you know, the $8.50 DIY price. I think people across the city and maybe even outside of the city will be interested in buying it. So and then when we get those leads online, Jan will be distributing those to you through the RLM software. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some exciting new opportunities for you there as well. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions about it, you know, you can come to me personally, shoot me an email, what have you. But happy selling. Tanya and I sold an HDF product from Cares, which was a Swedish company, you know, at Lonsdale Flooring, and we sold it by the mile. And so once you overcome some of the initial objections, mostly surrounding the HDF core, once you are able to come with a good answer to that and sell it with confidence, you should be able to sell a lot of it. So if you need any helps, tips, or tricks on things that you're coming up against or problems, please ask. Like I said, I've sold hundreds of thousands of square feet of the Cares version of it, and with great success. So yeah, happy selling. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.